So talk a little bit. One of the characteristics of this project is that you really tried to weave the text, the photos, the video in seamlessly, and that this was really part of the vision from the start. How did it change your approach? And a nod here to our digital storytelling team at the time, Raghu Bararevu and Nat Castaneda and Linda Gorman, who were immensely helpful in working to achieve this vision. So what did that mean? How did that change how you reported?
Well, first when we realized that we're gonna work on this together, we agreed that I was gonna follow Renata at every step of the way, no matter how bad it sounded for photos or video. We were really gonna focus on trying to gather as much visual material as possible because now it's easy to look at the story when it's done, but if you think about the initial pitch of a story like this, it's a really difficult story to illustrate because there are no survivors, there's no one left. At this stage, we didn't know if we're going to find any family members or anything at all to show. So it was extremely challenging, and I spoke to my photo writer at the time, which was Enrique Marti, and we kind of agreed that I'm just going to stick with Renata all the way, follow whatever she's going to try to find, and if nothing else, we'll illustrate in a very poetic way. So I had some ideas to shoot abandoned boats along the way. I even did that. I started doing that in Mauritania. But then, as we started to get more evidence and be able to follow the route that they were basically retrace.
Yes, to do.
We just began to record and photograph every step of the way. And what we didn't know, but the photos really became part of the investigation and an essential part of the investigation.
Right, so photos of the evidence also and video.
So the photos became an investigative technique in and of themselves because that's what you showed people. Yeah. So it wasn't just an illustration, it was really part of the
it really became a visual investigation.
And also, I think when we said we sent back photos of the evidence to the families, we did that, but we also analyzed photos of the disappeared and found clothing on some of those photos. So we identified that they were wearing the same clothes actually in one of the some of the photos that the families had shared with us. They were wearing the same clothes that we found in Tobago. So in some cases we didn't even need the families to recognize it because it was there on the photo that they had shared with us.
Then of course, as you said, when we realized that from the beginning we were already talking to Raghu and others in the digital team because we wanted this to be immersive storytelling, and it's very challenging to do nice visual presentations for investigations where you don't know what you're going to get in terms of photos or video or anything. So that's why we kind of decided let's start from the beginning and go all the way and try our best really to illustrate this in the best way. However,
the distance also, I think we wanted to have a glue that showed how vast this route was, how vast the boat had drifted away from, and how really interconnected all these continents are because of migration, whether they want it or not. They left from West Africa, they were trying to get to Europe, they ended up in the Caribbean. And this is, the world is small in that sense.
And how all of this is linked. Did you at any point feel that you or your sources were in danger? And how did you try to protect your sources? Because the smugglers were a very real presence in this investigation.
Right? In Mauritania, we felt, we didn't see or encounter, but we felt that the smugglers were kind of coming behind us, after us, and telling the families that what we were saying wasn't true, that everyone was alive. They were just in prison in Morocco because they had been intercepted by police. And then, you know, some people that helped us, even though we asked them not to go to authorities because we knew that in Mauritania, authorities are sometimes working with smugglers or getting bribed by smugglers. And, you know, when people did go to the local authorities to ask for help or ask for information, they were threatened. They were asked not to ask questions. They were told off. And so,
Or they were
yeah,
approached by the smugglers,
or approached by the smugglers and told, you know,
told not to
off,
go to
not
the
to-
authorities again.
and
So
not to talk to us or
Yeah.
not to, you know, help us. And that it was all nonsense. So we did feel it, and people did tell us, you know, they were threatened, and we obviously tried to help protect them as much as we could. We were as discreet as we could. We tried to not gather too much attention, and you know, protect our sources to a certain extent as much as we could. And
and really, the focus was really identifying the victims.
Yeah.